Welcome to a special episode of Split Decisions. Since we got no fights for the next 2 weekends, we got to figure out some other ways to talk and continue to entertain you guys with this segment. So we thought this is the perfect weekend for us to finally be able to have that 10-8 and 10-10 discussion, which has kind of been a little bit of a theme in the last couple of events. And I think this is with this open weekend, it's fucking perfect time for us. So we put together two fights that we believe give us the epitome of a 10-8 round and, at least a template for what a possible 10-10 round could be. We got Shogun Hendo as our possible 10-8s, and then we have what's this other fight? Christos Giagos against Mizuta Hirota for a possible 10-10 where we had one of the judges actually score the fight at 10-10. So first, let's start off with the 10-8 rounds. Before we even start this, let me just set it up real quick for you guys. On MMA Decisions, which is our kind of Bible for this show, the fan scoring actually has it 66% as a 47-47 fight between Henderson and Shogun, declaring it a draw. However, we got Henderson actually winning that fight via unanimous decision, 48-47 all around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 48-47 all around. So the most disputed round here, actually, in terms of fan scoring, is round 5. So all three judges actually scored it at 10-9. However, in fan scoring, we had an overwhelming 87.1% scoring it at 10-8 for Shogun Hua. And, I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but it raises questions in terms of, okay, how dominant was that round actually for Shogun?
Media had the 10-8.
Media actually had the 10-8 as well. So that's a little bit more, we're not saying, again, they're the end-all, be-all either. But the consensus here, based on the facts and statistics we have in front of us, claim this fight should be a draw. So I remember after that fight happened, you know how much of a dick rider I am of fucking Shogun. That was my dude. So
you were pissed.
I was pissed. I thought that fight should have been a draw.
Yeah.
Initially watching it. And I remember any time I brought that up to anybody as a point, they're like, round three should be 10-8 for Henderson then, right? And our fan scoring has it as a 17.6% of people voted that as a 10-8 for Dan Henderson. 76.2 voted it as a 10-9. So I thought with the amount of backlash I was always getting for making that argument that this fight should have been a draw, I thought that 17% would be closer to like a 60%, 70% 10-8 for Henderson, but no. That's why I want to watch. So we're going to watch round 3, and we're also going to watch round 5. Round 3, we'll see if there is that actual argument of a possible 10-8 there. And then round 5, we'll see if the fan scoring and even the media scoring was correct with giving that a 10-8 for Shogun and even myself initially watching it. It's been years since I've watched this fight, so I don't remember the exact moments as to why I remember scoring it at 10-8, but let's relive it now with older and more wiser eyes. So we're going to start off with round 3 of Shogun Henderson. 1, obviously they fought twice and it didn't go so well for Shogun the second time. This was a war. Even the first 2 rounds, you can see with all the blood that's already on them. And the way fucking Dan Henderson is huffing and puffing. Dude, remember that one part in this fight where he just takes a back step, gathers up, and just fucking...
Yep, I still remember all those moments. This guy was a fucking zombie after round 3. Like halfway through round 4, he turned into a zombie.
And still survived it all. God damn. It's a lot of just them clashing. Nobody landing the cleaner shots.
It's hilarious how stiff Dan Henderson is. But he gets it done. It's ridiculous.
I know.
He somehow
almost won a fucking title against Bisping as well.
Mm-hmm.
In his last fight. So it's pretty much a lot of like Dan Henderson pressuring Shogun up against the cage with punches.
Both landing strikes. Now they're clinching.
Henderson gets like a trip takedown, but does not maintain top position or anything.
So minute and 15 in. I mean, maybe Henderson's winning the round, but it's really largely both
strictly off of pressure. It's not anything really off of damage here.
There we go. So
there's the drop at minute 40.
Dan Henderson drops him with a hard right. Now he's on top. Shogun is he just got hit with shots. 2 or 3 big shots. Another 4th or 5th big shots. These are big shots
now.
But Shogun is not showing that he's rocked. He's hurt.
Man.
He's on the ground. He's eating shots. Dan Anderson's trying to finish him badly. Shogun is now, in fetal position, holding on to Henderson, trying to tuck his head away.
Elbowing the body.
Yep, Dan Anderson's elbowing the body. Now he's just trying to pick his shots, I guess also.
Josh Rosenthal is killing it right now by not stopping this fight.
Yeah. Henderson's probably getting a little
Shogun
tired.
almost
Now
went for a knee
Shogun's
bar
working.
sweep.
Now
or a
Shogun's
heel hook
working
sweep.
for a heel hook.
Yeah. So he was close to getting finished there.
He was 100%.
He was really close to getting finished there.
But now
let's see what
he's got a
Shogun-
heel hook, and then Henderson is out of it. Shogun's back to his feet. Now Shogun is clinching up with Henderson and pinning him against the cage.
Not throwing anything.
Not throwing anything yet. No, not
Henderson with the knee inside.
Yeah, small knee. And Henderson does look tired. He looks bad.
Yeah.
Shogun just looks hurt. Dan looks tired.
Yeah, he's bloodied up too.
He's definitely
Aesthetically
bloody.
does not look good for Shogun at all.
No.
So how long did that barrage of punches take?
That
like
was
30 seconds, 40
about
seconds?
40 seconds. Yeah, that was 40 seconds. The initial right that dropped him, he landed like about 5 or 6 really clean, nice shots.
Mm-hmm.
At no point did I feel, though, that Shogun was rocked. I thought he was just hurt and getting hit and still trying to cover up. So you got to give him that.
It's not a good look when you're turtling like that.
No. That was more just, please stop hitting me.
Yeah.
But I'm still aware. I'm here. But that was pretty brutal, and it was close to getting stopped. So Shogun's still
like
pinning.
outside of that, Hendo is just huffing and puffing against the cage.
Yeah, Shogun
clinching up against him. Yeah,
not landing anything either though. Henderson is just tired as fuck right now. Now Shogun's trying to drop down for a takedown. Henderson landing good elbows though against the cage. Shogun gets the takedown
and lands
now
punches on top.
Shogun's landing good strikes against Dan Henderson against the cage.
God damn. Okay, I will agree that this damage that he's doing, there's still 30 seconds to go, but even what he's done up until this point may sway it a little bit closer to a 10-9 than a 10-8.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, even though he was close to being finished, he is outputting now. Like, he's pinning Shogun against
the round, winning the round.
Yes.
That I almost feel is enough to negate that 10. I mean, if Henderson was beating the fuck out of him for the first 2 minutes like that, then maybe not. But it was 40 seconds. It was a total of maybe like 6 to 8 really good, clean, hard strikes.
Yeah.
A little bit of ground and pound. Shogun was always covering up, got back up, and kind of won the last half of the round.
I'd say 10-9 Henderson.
I would have to go with 10-9, just because of the fact that Henderson did really nothing in the last minute outside of trying to catch his breath and eating some shots and getting pinned against the cage.
So, I wish I remember this when I had these fucking arguments with people that were trying to tell me that Henderson should have gotten it. Well, let's watch round 5.
I'm not going to lie, though. I don't have a big... I wouldn't be too upset if someone scored that at 10-8.
No.
Hold on.
Well, let's compare it. Let's compare it to this round.
That's what I want to do. Let me make my point after this 5th round. Okay, starting 5th round. Dan Henderson. Oh, he has already entered zombie mode. That was at the
it
end
was
of
this round, right?
No,
where he
end
does
of round 4. No, that was like towards the end of round 4 with like a minute left where he went into like zombie mode. Like, we don't understand how he's still alive. Okay, so he kind of rushed in a bit. No one did anything for the first 30 seconds. Shogun has taken him down against the cage. We're 30 seconds in. Shogun has him inside
Crazy
control.
that he had this much amount of energy.
Yeah. Shogun has taken him down. He's got him inside control against the cage. He's
knee to the body. Beautiful.
Yep, knee to the body. Maintaining side control. Another knee to the body. Dan Henderson just looks like he's,
fish out of water.
Yeah,
he has
fish
no
out of
idea
water
what the
against
fuck
the
is going
cage. He just has no energy.
Full mount.
Shogun is mounted with 4 minutes left in the round. He has achieved mount. He's posturing up. He's landing strikes. Henderson is covering up, trying to swing from the bottom.
God damn.
Desperation. Shogun with a nasty elbow, more ground and
have
pound.
these on, but okay.
Still in mount. Landing a couple of weak type blows, then getting controlled, but still landing something. Henderson has landed nothing.
Oh, I think he dropped his mouthpiece and he was waving over at the referee to give it back to him.
Now Shogun's still in mount, controlling the head and arm. Now he's posturing up again, landing more strikes. Dan Henderson is just swaying from side. Oh, those were some good strikes there. Henderson just swaying side to side, trying to avoid the strikes. Now he's gotten out of mount, I think back to half guard. Now Shogun's trying to pass again. He's trying to free that leg. Dan Henderson, this is a very light half guard right now.
Yeah.
So right now Shogun's kind of pinning
Full
his head
mount
down,
again.
and then he mounts him. Head pinned out, postures up again. He's sitting up and he's punching Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson is going to his side, to his back. Now Shogun's got his back. Back to
full
mount.
What is this? Not even full
Now
mount
trying to
or-
work like an arm triangle. 2.5 minutes still left in this round. This is all survival right now for Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
There's nothing here other than survival. Okay, Dan Henderson's kind of on his back. Okay, he got half guard back.
and now full
And now
mount again.
right back into mount for Shogun immediately.
Fuck.
So he's
And
landing
eating strikes.
He's landing strikes while Henderson is kind of hugging him close to him.
Yeah.
So not the strongest strikes. Now Shogun's freed himself. Now he's postured up,
More.
landing more strikes as Henderson just puts an arm up and kind of looks away, eating them. Okay, now he's almost got his back. Yep, Henderson's almost belly down, kind of on his side a bit, eating more strikes.
This is already a 10.
back. Yes, like back on his back.
How do you
in
not
half
score
guard.
this a 10-8?
Now he's in half guard. He's gone back to half guard. And now Shogun's mounted him again.
And
And now
again.
he's posturing up. Elbow.
Hammer
Fist.
fist. God damn.
More strike. These are not the strongest strikes because Shogun is tired and
How
beaten
do
up
you
too.
not
but
score
this
this
is
at 10-8?
these are a lot of strikes, and Henderson has done
Zero.
nothing.
Nothing.
Still
this
mounted.
This has got to be.
Still got him out. He's had mount for 2.5 minutes
yeah.
of this fight. Of this round, sorry.
At least accumulatively, but
Yeah.
God
Not landing
damn.
the toughest strikes here because Henderson is holding Shogun close while Shogun's landing from the sides a bit. And now Shogun's going to posture up. Yep, he's sitting up again. More ground and pound. With Henderson just kind of like, please get away sort of look on his face. Just holding his arm out. Okay, back to half guard. He's gotten half guard back.
Still eating
Shogun's
shots.
still landing strikes from over his half guard.
oh,
Now kind of arm triangle type position.
we got to get
Shogun-
another full mount.
Shogun trying to posture up. Shogun also trying to go back into mount. That leg's going to get free. And Shogun, no, he's back him out. And he's back him out. He's back him out. He's back him out.
Oh, fuck. 20 seconds left. He's secured mount. How do you not score this at 10-8? I am more pissed now than when I was fucking. Wow.
So Shogun's back in mount, postures up again, landing more strikes. Dan Henderson, okay, gets out of mount, but he's on top again. He mounts him again with like 3 seconds left.
Yo, I need to go to UFC stats and see this shit right now.
Okay, here was
How
my
many
point that I
passes?
wanted to make. I don't mind round 3 being a 10-8,
I
but if
do.
you give round 3 a 10-8, that is a 10-7.
Thank you. Okay. I
That
like
was my point, because round 3 was definitely more dominant than
Yeah.
round 1, 2, or 4. So it feels like it should be distinguished. So maybe give that a 10-8. But if that's a 10-8,
over that
that's
amount
a
of time.
fucking 10-7.
When did he land
is-
that takedown? Like 4 minutes and 30. Like
No, he got the
4 minutes
takedown
left?
like 30 seconds into the fight, and he had mount 1 minute into the fight. And he was constantly, I don't think he was out of mount for more than 30 seconds after he got the mount.
let's
That's
see.
a 10-7.
Hold on, how many passes did he have in that? In that round, 6
4?
passes.
Yeah, there you go.
6 passes.
From half guard to mount or side control to mount.
Let's see this: 79 to 97 in strikes landed. To 79 of 97 shots thrown. 8 of 9 for Henderson in round 5.
I don't know if it's like bit shots or something. Like he didn't land.
Definitely none of them. It was 0 for 1 on significant strikes.
Yeah, there you go. There's no significant. There was love taps maybe. That's cool.
Holy shit, dude.
So yeah, however you want to get to the draw, fine. But the right way would probably be give Hendo a 10-8 and give Shogun a 10-7. That still results in a 46-46
The only
draw.
reason I would go, but you've agreed that 10-9 is the proper score for round 3.
No, well, okay, look. If it was totally up to me, I think you got to distinguish.
You
You know
gotta
what I
give him
mean?
the 10-8?
Round 3 is not the same as round 1 or 2. You get what I mean? But at the same time, round 5 is that much worse than round 3.
Yeah.
So we can't equate round 3 and 5, but we also can't equate round 1 and 2. We have other numbers to use. I don't know why these fucking guys don't use them. 10-9 for 1 and 2 and 4. 10-8 round 3, 10-7 round 5. There's a clear distinguishing factor between how dominantly each round was won. So however you get to the draw, fine. I would ideally give that a 46-46 draw. But if you don't want to use 10-7s, fine. Then yeah, I would go 10-9 round 3.
I don't know if you've ever seen a 10-7.
So that probably is a 10-7. And Frankie Edgar Gray Maynard, the second fight, the first round, that had a huge argument for me at 10-7 because I think Frankie Edgar rolled over dead like 3 times in that round and still came back to life. That was one that you could say could have been a 10-7.
Man.
Khalil Roundtree probably fucking got a 10-7 somewhere in there against
Anders.
Dropping him how many times? Like, didn't you drop him 3 times in a round? I feel like if you get dropped 3 times in a round and you don't do much offensively, that's a 10-7, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem is the judges don't use those numbers. It feels like the only scores you're allowed to give for a round are 10-10, 9-9.
Not even 10-10.
Yeah, not even 10-10 really. 9-9 if there's a point deduction, or it's only 10-9 and 10-8.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I've talked to you about this where I'm like, why are we using a 10-point must? Why don't we just use a 2-point must if we're going to score fights like that?
What do you mean by 2-point must?
Why do we have why are we going with 10s and 9s and 8s? Why don't we just use zeros, 1s, and 2s?
Yeah. Like
if this is all there is to the scale, right?
Why
like what the fuck?
10?
Winner gets 2, and then the loser either gets a 1 or a 0. Like, why aren't we just doing that if that's all we're going to use? Distinguish the rounds. I think there's 3 different types of rounds in that Hendo Shogun fight. There's 1 and 2 and 4, then there's round 3, then there's 5. They're clearly different on different tiers.
The one argument I want to make for a 10-9, even considering the type of logic that you're bringing into this, is you don't weigh Shogun's slight comeback in the latter half of that round enough to warrant him to win back some of that round. You know what I mean? Even though he got dropped,
enough.
And he was in trouble for 30 to 40 seconds.
Fair
After
enough.
that, he slowly started to turn the tide.
But my argument is that equal to the way Henderson won round 1 or 2? No. It's definitely more dominant,
I
and
don't
that should be
recall it,
expressed.
so I need to remember that. But
that should be expressed
but
in
it
the
shouldn't
numbers.
be. It also should not be relative to the rest of the scores in that fight. It should be universal. Like, you shouldn't say, okay, if you're going to give that round, like round 3, you're going to give that a 10-8, you need to give round 5 a 10-7. Or if it's a 10-9, you should give it a 10-8.
I don't see why not, though. Like, that's the whole point of the number scale is to distinguish. You want to have
But you need to have a distinguishing. You're correct, but you need to, like, this is even pre-fight. You need to explain. Yeah, you need to explain to the fighters, this is a 10-8, this is a 10-9.
But the criteria would clearly be like, it's still subjective though. It's going to be like, well, if you think an excessive amount of damage was okay, well, what's excessive now? Now we have to get into the definition. It's still subjective. So while watching that fight though, you're like, okay, Dan clearly won 10-9. Dan clearly won this round way more dominantly than the first 2. So I should probably give this a 10-8.
But I would also need to consider what type of opposition Shogun put up in those first 2 rounds compared to the opposition that he showcased in the 3rd round.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there is the dominance level.
He did not get dropped and hurt that bad in round 1 or 2. I remember that.
Sorry.
I remember that for sure. He just lost those rounds. He did get rocked or hurt. I don't think he got dropped.
So was he more active in the 3rd round than he was in the first 2 rounds?
No. I think he was better in the first 2 rounds, 100%.
Shogun.
There was actually one point
outside of the fact that he got
There was
clipped.
one point, I think, in the end of the first round where he hurt Dan Henderson. Like, Henderson kind of goes against him against the cage for a takedown or something. And it looks like Shogun might have hit him in the temple and rocked him for a sec. But it's hard to tell. I think I remember seeing that. But I think earlier in that round, though, Henderson had like a flurry against the cage against Shogun. And Shogun was blocking. I don't think he got hurt that much, though. But Henderson clearly won the round. But then when you're looking at it from a fight and hurting someone in a damage standpoint, round 3 is clearly.
I'm very much open to your what do you want to call it?
Using theory, the other numbers. You just use the numbers.
Your criteria of things is 10-7, 10-8, 10-9.
If you want it to be closer to judging a fight as a whole, that's how you're supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. This whole round by round judging is stupid. We should just be doing pride. Why are we even talking about math and numbers? At the end of a fight, it's you go ask the average person, like, okay, you watch the fight. Who won the fight? Most people could just tell you, okay, that guy won the fight. And if it's hard to tell, give it a fucking draw.
What is the criteria for a pride fight, though? Is it
damage?
It's damage that's sustained throughout.
But that's how 10-9 is.
But that's how 10-9 is. Say they had 10-minute rounds, right? You do 6 minutes of constant damage, but then the other person wins 4 minutes.
No, another thing that Pride did that was good that I kind of like too, they weighed the latter half more than the first half because they're like, if this was one long continuous fight, that first half would have happened and then the second half would have happened. And so like if a guy ends a fight in dominant position, in theory, he would just continue with that dominant position.
But how soon?
That's why they would weigh the end more.
How soon would you need to get that dominant position after taking an ass whooping in the first 60 to 75% of that round, right? It's
hard to explain unless I have a fight in front of me to use an example, but it just feels like it's pretty intuitive. Like most people know who won a round. Like if this was an actual fight and this kept going the way It's pretty easy to tell.
Let me
Like,
throw
I got
this
one
number
to
out there.
fight.
Let me throw the 8 minutes of significant damage on one side, 2 minutes of significant damage to end the fight.
Well, then
is that enough time?
No, total damage is probably the guy who did the 8 minutes. Like
Yeah.
you would be.
And
you
obviously
wanna-
it's subjective
here's the
in
thing,
terms of how
you
much
would
damage,
want to
but-
weigh the end of the fight more.
Yeah.
But then. It's
How
just,
late into the fight?
It's weighed a little more. It's not enough for 2 minutes to offset 8 minutes.
That's
You know what I mean?
Is it,
No,
is it 3 minutes
can't
to
be.
offset 7?
But 5 and 5, I don't agree with. If one guy wins the first like 5.5 minutes, then the other guy starts beating the shit out of the last 4. I think the last 4.5 minutes is more.
So
is more
4 to
significant.
3.5 minutes is probably the.
That's hard to tell, but once again, like
I'm going
fight
into
to
this
fight,
hypothetically like
Yeah,
they're
fight-
just wailing on each other for fucking.
Yeah,
Right?
fight to fight, you got to look at it, right? Like in that 7 minutes, what was the damage done? In that 3, whatever it is. But in general, it's just the system is so overcomplicated for no reason with this 10-9. Each round is its own fight.
Yeah.
And now we're averaging it out because like, what? Like,
Yeah.
look at, there's so many fights like this. Rampage Machida, okay?
Yeah, that was
Rampage
one fight.
barely wins round 1. And a lot of people even might have had it from Machida. Rampage barely wins round 2. Round 1 and 2 was like nothing happening. Round 3, Machida hurts him, doesn't finish him. You're watching that fight. You're like, Machida won the fight. Nothing really happened. And then Machida hurt him. Machida won the fight.
Yeah.
Round by round, though, Rampage wins the fight.
He
Because
squeezed by on each-
squeezes
yeah.
out round 1. He squeezes out round 2. Machida definitively wins round 3, but they're all 10-9s. So 10-9 must, Rampage wins. But as a fight, there's nobody watching that fight going, Rampage won the fight. Everyone's saying Machida
Even
won the
he
fight.
was shocked.
Even
I
fucking
remember-
Rampage,
yeah.
because Rampage comes from Pride, so he felt like Pride scoring.
Probably lost that.
And he's like, yeah, I lost that 100%. They're going to
Yeah.
score for that guy. But that's why the 10-9 must system is stupid. We know who won the fight. Why don't we just fucking say who won the fight?
Yeah.
Why do we have to do this like 10-9
But that's the criteria
scoring round
that the
by-
judges
it's
are
stupid.
having
It's
to go
dumb as
by.
fuck. It is dumb as fuck.
I think the one thing that we can agree upon is that it's not going to get changed though.
Yeah,
Like,
which is stupid as shit.
it's gonna be a long time.
It's weird because they're overcomplicating it. Like we're saying, make it simpler.
Yeah.
Like literally have a judge watch the fight and then at the end just write down a fucking name or
Yeah.
like just two check boxes. Who won the fight or is it a draw?
But then it gets into the thing of, okay, if it is a close fight, you need to give me reasoning as to why you thought that guy won the round 2 or won the fight, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
You need to give
down
them
with that. I'm
solid
down with that.
justification as to why you think he won the fight.
But at the end of the day, a fight, the major criteria in a fight, it's got to be damage. Who's hurting the guy more? We're talking about fighting.
I think that would be an interesting way to go about it too, is actually have the rounds, but score it as a whole. And what you just said in terms of write the name down, and they maybe have a slot where it's like 3 reasons. Give me your 3 definitive reasons as to why you thought they won the round. And if anybody ever questions
wouldn't
why
even
you think
say-
they won the fight, this is the top 3 reasons as to why you think they won the
I
fight.
wouldn't say 3
like
reasons.
it's an opinion. It's an opinion.
I wouldn't
it's
say
not
3
fact.
reasons. I
would
wouldn't
you
say
say?
like say 3 reasons. I would say just in general explain it. Because there might just be a fight where it's like this guy won because he clearly beat the shit out of the guy. Like there's no 3 different reasons, just he won everywhere. Like it doesn't have to be 3 reasons, I'm saying.
Okay.
Just have he won why. Draw why. This guy won why. Like even it might even be a 2-line thing. He dominated whole fight.
Control the top
Yeah,
position
you know what I
and
mean?
landed
Like
more damage even with the reversals.
damage was equal, had more control. Like just something quick, right? You know what I mean? That
I think
like
that's
what were
pretty
you
good too.
seeing? Yeah, just a simple thing.
I think we see this a little bit more from companies that are able to have fights on the native reserve because they don't have to go abide by
yeah.
commission rules.
Yeah.
Like there are like I think the Mohegan Sun has their
Yeah, that
own
one.
commissioner or something like that. But like there are like I've been to so many amateur events in the middle of nowhere in
And there's
Montreal.
no scoring, they just say it.
They just say it. But but you have the opportunity to pilot these types of ideas in places like that. In a place that has a commission, they're not going to do it. They're going to stick with the tried and true. I think California might be the first ever people to try to, fix judging. But I
Yeah.
still think that we're years away from that.
It just feels like why are we complicating it? Why does it have to be like okay, a 10 night has to be this? Most like you can just watch a fight. How many people do you just watch a fight and you just know who won? Like,
Yeah.
most people just tell you who won the fight. It's kind of clear. Yes, there's going to be close calls, but that's why we're having judging and we're going to weigh out who won, like
Yeah.
who decided what. It's just like it does. Like is the 10-9 system helping versus pride scoring? Is it resulting in less shitty decision? No, it's probably making it worse.
Yeah.
And it's more to keep track of. It's unnecessary.
I want to go over the Crystal Chiago's second round strictly because that's the last real known 10-10 round that's been scored by a judge.
One quick thing though that we kind of forgot to mention: the only thing it would kind of mess up is point deductions. If you're fighting scoring the fight as a whole, what the fuck do you do about infractions?
Yeah, there is no...
Pride would do the pay doc, but I don't think people would want your pay getting cut.
No, why not? That is actually a good fucking incentive. I'm down with that. Have a yellow card system there every time you foul.
If you low blow
if you
somebody,
intentionally foul,
you lose a little bit of your purse.
You lose 3% every time you
should
foul.
Go to your opponent. If you're fouling your opponent, the opponent should get
even better. Even better. But that might play up some guys that like...
That would be one thing you have to consider, though, if you're getting rid of the points, is like, how do we treat fouls?
How do you punish people
that's
for...
That's going to be a change,
let's do this Giagos one. It's the
that.
last known 10-10 round that we've actually gotten by a UFC judge. So I just wanted to go in and see what this judge possibly could have seen.
Okay.
Because we did have this discussion last week with Paul Craig and Shogun.
Like, what is a 10-10?
What is a 10-10 round? And
maybe next week what we'll do is I think we should really do round 2 of BJ Penn, John Fitch. That was one I remember you could
make it.
That
10-10.
was one where it's like Fitch won more of the round, but he won the beginning part, and then BJ won more of the end part. So you kind of weighed that a little more, and it's like,
yeah,
this could possibly be a 10-10. I remember a couple of people scoring that at 10-10.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just remember it being a draw. I can't recall how it was, and that was a 3-round main event as well.
It was a draw because 2 judges gave BJ the first 2 rounds and John 10-8 in the third round.
Giagos took him down.
Yeah, Giagos just took him down.
Giagos. I won't say Giagos.
Hirota's tying him up pretty well from his guard. Giagos?
Giagos. Christos Giagos.
Christos. Let's go with that.
Let's go Christos, yeah.
Christos. He's landing
good shots from on
good.
top.
Like he's getting tied up well. He's kind of posturing up for a second, landing a good strike. Kind of glancing. Some of them are getting through.
Passes to half guard, but back to full.
Yeah, trying to pass. Yeah, Hirota's doing well at maintaining his guard, tying him up well.
A minute and a half into this round, I'm leaning it's a Giagos round. Christos round.
That cannot be debatable right now.
Yeah.
Hirota's tying him up now. He's not doing anything. He's all
Christos is still landing shots at some points. So.
He is still getting hit.
Yeah.
Not the
all coming from full guard.
Yeah, not the craziest strikes, but he's getting hit. Oh, that was a nice little flurry.
Yeah.
He had like 3 good strikes. So it's like he's posturing up, landing a bit, and then getting tied up again. Posturing up, landing a bit, getting tied up again.
Hirota's going to have to do some shit if this fight, if this round is actually supposed to be scored at 10-10. So he's backing up towards the cage.
Yeah, so now...
And see if he actually starts working up.
Hirota's guard, and now Hirota's trying to put his back against the cage to get up. Hirota's back up onto one...
and gets pulled up.
Yeah, then he gets
back up.
Yeah, he uses the cage to get back up. Now he's up. There's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Christo's trying to take him down against the cage or clinching him against the cage. But they are back up. And he gets the takedown.
Big takedown. What the fuck? How?
Yeah, where's the 10-8? Like
10-10. What the fuck?
Hirota must hurt him badly. We got a minute and 35 left. This is still Christos on top. Not doing too much, but winning the round regardless.
He's staying active enough to maintain his position.
Trying to posture up, landing a glancing blow, but they're not really landing that clean, but it's something. And something is better than nothing. Okay, we got 55 seconds left. This has been 3.5 to 4 minutes of Christos
on top, landing shots consistently.
Controlling
nothing
and landing,
fight ending.
Exactly. Controlling and landing.
This is a 10-9 round. This is a comfortable 10-9 round.
Strikes. But Hirota's done nothing. But defending pretty well, but you're just defending.
This is closer to a 10-8 round than it is a 10-10.
Okay, now Hirota stands up, eats a knee. Now they're standing. There's 15 seconds left in the round. They're standing. Christos looks a little tired, though, against the cage. Oh, now Hirota kind of glancing flying knee. Sort of flurrying, but not really hitting much, missing. We got it.
Christos landed a big shot.
Christos what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Which judge gave this a 10-10?
Let's see.
Sorry, guys. That was supposed to be us judging if a round should be a 10-10 or not, and that was about as clear cut of a 10-9 round as you could get.
Khan Papayionu.
All right, well, he's a fucking idiot or he's blind.
Let's see what other fights he's scored.
Yeah, he barely has a list of fights. He should not be judging
Wilson
any
Hayes against Ben Nguyen. He had 30-27 for Hayes.
I think everybody did.
30-25. So he's scored a fight, a couple 10-8s.
He doesn't like 10-9 scores.
2 10-8s he's given.
But it looks like a lot of people gave
Kai
that. So, like,
Kara-France.
what the fuck happened in this fight? What did he see that he thought? Did he maybe think Christos was doing nothing from top position, and then at the end, Hirota landed some sort of bomb? Like, that wasn't even the case. Because when they did stand up with 15 seconds left, I would still say Christos won the exchange because he landed the best strike out of that stand up. Like, there is
no argument for a 10-10. If anything, it's like I said, it's closer to a 10-8 than it is a 10-10.
I would definitely just go with
10-9 is
straight.
Absolute perfect score.
That was a 10-9. That was a clear 10-9.
The one point that somebody actually made up to me after the Paul Craig and Shogun Rua fight is that you could possibly even give that round to Paul Craig a little bit more. Like we should be leaning towards that a little bit more than a draw, due to the fact that he won that first round, the first minute with the striking. Then when it got taken to the ground, Shogun wasn't landing anything really from on top. He had landed that 1 to 2 shots tops.
It felt like,
but even during those lulls, Paul Craig was the one controlling his arms.
I was about to say,
right? He was threatening more.
If what do you do, right? You look at it like, oh, damage is even. Like, let's say if one guy's on top, not doing much, and then the guy from the bottom doing a little bit, you would be like, oh, okay, damage is even, so the guy on top is controlling more, so he's winning. But what's that word? We're looking at control.
Yeah.
But why can't it be that if no one's landing, the guy on the bottom's doing the controlling? Like, that fight looked like, even though Shogun was on top, Paul Craig was tying him up and controlling his wrist and doing the controlling, right?
I think it's two things here. Aesthetically, it would have looked a lot better if he was throwing his legs up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, he was like just shifting to the sides with his hips.
Yeah, just
it wasn't him really throwing his legs up there and making it look like he was closer to these submissions than he possibly was. And another thing is, maybe it's the angle of these judges, because they probably weren't noticing that Paul Craig was trying to set it up and trying to work with Shogun's arms during those lulls that were on the ground. Maybe if they're watching it on the TV, they could see it. You could see it a little bit better with the angles that we were getting.
Like, Shogun's on top, but who's actually on offense here? Paul Craig is probably the one setting shit up, while Shogun's kind of like, oh shit, trying to defend, even though he's on top. So
I lean a little bit more towards a 10-9 for Paul Craig now.
Interesting. Okay.
Thinking about it that way, especially with having to be like, again, I want to be as firm as I can with being on one side or the other. I don't want to sit on the fence. I don't want to give 10-10s.
Fair enough.
Right?
I think if you gotta give a winner in that fight, Paul Craig 100% has to get the win. There's nothing Shogun did to say that he won that fight.
Agreed. So like, as a fight as a whole, it ended off with a little bit of a flurry and then Paul Craig getting on top. So yeah, like if you want to go pride rules about it too, maybe
probably Paul Craig
there.
Get the lean, yeah.
God damn. So 10-8s. We're pretty straightforward about what we consider 10-8. It seems a little bit more lenient in terms of if a guy rocks and has a good flurry that shows the guy that could possibly also get stopped.
But see, it's lenient in my world because of the fact that I'm willing to use a 10-7.
Relatively.
But if you're saying you can't go lower than 10-7, then I'm going to adjust my definition to make it how like kind of most people are. But my thing is, why can't we use the other numbers? Let's distinguish more.
Here's a question actually. If the rest of if round 5 went like rounds 1 and 2 and we scored that at 10-9, would you score round 3 at 10-8 still? Like if we didn't get that 10-7 of a round in round 5, potential 10-7, would you still score it at 10-8 round 3?
Yeah, I would still want to use the number spectrum. So I'd be like, yeah, he
still
won
gives
10-9, 10-9, but man, he dropped
that one was 10-8.
That's a 10-8. That's a 10-8 right there. But then, yeah, if I watch round 5, I'd be like, well, I mean, Henderson did literally nothing and just survived for 4 minutes. That's about as close to that's not a 10-8. That's worse than a 10-8.
That's a tough thing about MMA judging, because it's like, as subjective as the rules are, even like the whole fucking touching your hands on the ground and getting kneed in the head thing. That's still very iffy. Like there's so many chances where you're like, I don't know if this is legal or not. And every fight is not the same. No fight is the same.
Speaking of which, did you see one fight recently where the ref stopped it because of an illegal knee to a downed opponent? But it was the weirdest scenario. The guy wasn't down. So he was squatting down, but technically he was only on his feet.
Oh.
So he was in like a position where you're like, oh, he's clearly on a knee. But then when you watch the replay, you're like, wait, his knees were off the ground and only his feet are touching. Wow. So technically that's legal.
Yeah,
but it looks like he's completely down.
He's in a down position.
Yeah, it's like you pretend you're on a knee, but then your knee just comes up off the floor. So you're only really, your base, you're only on your feet.
Yeah.
You're like squatting. That's a legal knee now. But the ref stopped it and gave the guy time and said it was like a legal knee.
I think that some referees actually do this. they say it. They'll be like down opponent.
Yeah.
Or not down opponent anymore. Down opponent.
I think Murgliata does that. Like,
I think if they
you
do
can hit
that
him now.
more-
You can hit him now. No, you can't. No, you can't.
If they do it consistently and every referee does it, I think it would be a lot more helpful.
There was one position that where that's helpful and it kind of makes sense because it
When you
makes
have
it
the
really
back
iffy.
clinch position. Yeah,
like let's say Cejudo, I remember he was trying to take DJ down and then DJ's kind of got him in a sprawl position, but now DJ's kind of got him in a headlock, but his face is on Cejudo's back.
You can't see the knees.
He doesn't know where his knees are
Yeah.
and if he's allowed to throw his knee up and hit him in the face.
Yeah.
So I remember the ref was kind of telling him down, not down. So it's like good for
Stay
DJ.
that consistent though. Like stay like every anytime he goes from down to not down, say it. Even if it's evident. Even if it's evident.
To be consistent.
Right?
The point deductions. Remember I was telling you, what was that event? I think it was the Brazil event where the refereeing was on point.
Oh yeah.
Remember I was telling him like, dude,
the Lipsky fight with
just the way they were
Padua,
handling
whatever her name
everything.
is.
Like one was clearly like, ooh, accidental, no point taken. One was like, look, you clearly broke the rule, point taken right away, no warning, point taken. I'm like, yes, thank you. You got to do this. If it's blatant, you know
Call
the
it.
rule. You fucked up. Too bad. You're getting a point taken. But if it's like, oh, okay, you were clearly going for an inside leg kick and the guy shifted his weight and you hit him in the balls. Like, okay, come on, man.
That's
got
gonna
to be an accident,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, chill out. But
I wish that whenever we have these discussions, we can come to a little bit more of a concrete answer.
yeah, no.
Like it's the sport is just so subjective, and like with basketball and football, you kind of know what to expect, and the rules can be followed to a T because you step on the out of bounds line, you're out of bounds. You double dribbled, right? There are times where they miss traveling
That's the
calls
problem,
and
right?
shit
It's
like
human
that.
error.
But yeah, that's human error. But I love the amount of replay that they use in those too. So maybe, well, I guess we're talking about 10A and 1010, so you can't really use the replay for that shit. Yeah, I wish we could get a little bit more of a concrete.
They
it's
really
just so
gotta.
hard.
Okay, if you don't want to go to pride scoring because you want to have the point deductions, then you really got to open up the scoring and allow using 7, 6, like allow using the other numbers so you can distinguish better. Because then you have a weighted average, right? Instead of averaging, you have a weighted average, right? Where it's like you can't squeak out round 1 and then that's the same as easily winning round 3. Like there has to be a weighting put
difference.
on how much you won the round. So if we do it that way, then you're going to get closer to pride scoring, which is the right way to score a fight. Plus, you can have your point deductions put in there. So I don't mind that.
I wouldn't
But
even
they
mind it
gotta-
if they did it like, okay, I scored this fight or this round for this guy. I gave him the first 2 rounds and I gave the other guy the 3rd round. But at the end of the fight, I can be like, okay, but he won round 1 better than he won round 2.
Now you should be able to go back and
Adjust
make a
it.
correction as long as you have a justification for why did you do that. Well, he squeaked out round 1 and I didn't feel round 3 was the same, so I had to distinguish. So I had to do something to
I actually
weight
like
it
that.
out better, right?
like
I don't
that.
mind that going. I guess going back and changing your score is well, actually no, they're allowed to do that now anyway because they don't submit. They score at the end of the round, but they don't submit their scorecard till the end. So and I have seen judges scratch it out and change it. So I guess there might be like a problem with that, but I'm like, no. I think at the end of the fight, you should be able to submit a final scorecard. That's it. Another thing, the judges should be watching this in a room with no sound, monitor,
shouldn't be there.
headphones on, and you should have like 11 judges remotely scoring it and just submitting their scores online.
Yeah.
And then boom, now we have 6 versus 5 to decide a split. You're
don't
going to
even
get
think they should
closer
have
to the right
headphones.
result that way, right?
I don't even think they should have headphones. Like, don't even listen to the
No,
fights.
headphones, I mean like earmuffs.
Oh, to block
Like,
out
yeah,
any
to
other
literally
sound.
like block out all
okay.
your sound. Silence, that's it.
Yeah, silence, just watch it. Don't get any influence from anything.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, no. I was about to say they should get some sort of broadcast where they can still hear the sounds, but not the
But the-
commentator. But then I'm like, no,
crowd.
the crowd sways it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Brazil. Yeah,
That was
so,
my
yeah.
issue. Yeah, we're never gonna get to a fucking concrete answer here, but at least we can at least explain to you guys a little bit more in terms of when we are scoring these fights on these shows.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
What are we really looking
Yeah,
for?
and what
I
do you
think
think
everybody needs to be a
someone
little bit
else
more
saw?
subjective. Yeah.
What do you think someone else watching it saw that potentially could have made them score it that way?
The thing I'm most happy about coming out of this episode is being a little bit more affirmative that Shogun won 10-8 in that last round. And he
I
probably
remember-
should have got
fuck
that fight a
that.
draw. That should have been
That's
a
a 10-7.
goddamn draw.
I'm more on your side than
Fuck.
I'm more on Shogun's side than you are
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah,
I'm like 10-7, bro.
That much more dominant.
Yeah. People
I don't
say-
remember it being like that long of just
No, you know
constant
why?
fucking...
This is 2011. Back in 2011,
Yeah.
we had such a rigid, stupid scoring system, so no one would
Yeah.
even dare to give a 10-7.
And realistically, me and you were like maybe 3 years into UFC by then, or MMA by then.
I think we started, what, 09, 08?
Yeah, so like roughly 3 years in. So now I feel like we have a better appreciation of how we can score these rounds.
Yeah.
All right. So next week we're going to be back with another special episode since we got no fucking MMA next week either. Make sure you guys check out Combatosseurs. That's dropping Monday, tomorrow. And follow us on Twitter at MMALOTN, at Tunes, websites MMALOTN.ca. Make sure you guys subscribe and comment below. Let us know what you guys prefer the actual scoring system to be, because we're open to more fucking ideas. I mean, this is an ongoing conversation that I see every time on Twitter, especially when there's a bad score call the night before. So make sure you guys hit us up in the comments below and let us know, and we'll probably bring it up in the next episode as well if we have some time to kill, maybe even on the Combatosaurs or something. But yeah, make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe, do all the shit. Just follow your boy, follow Tony. Let's fucking grow this shit. All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.